All right, well, welcome everyone to our Moving Up call. We're about almost halfway through the month, and we're just so excited that you guys are rocking it out. So, as always, we want to hear good news. What has happened out in the Pampered Chef world that you guys want to talk about and share? Booked another party, got a first recruit, went and, got out of your comfort zone. Who wants to go?
I booked a party at my sick kid appointment.
Yay! An out and about party?
Sure. It's a cat. I convinced her to do a catalog show, so it's like an office party. So,
Okay, how did that conversation start? That's what we all want to know.
I was just sitting down doing my paperwork, and I was like, "Hey, I just want to let you know I saw Pampered Chef," and she got really excited because she's like, "Oh, and you're local." So, I asked her like if she had any pieces, and she said that she had she loved the stoneware, and I'm like, that's great, guys. In April you can get 60% off, and I'm very excited that I have some extra money because I got a brand new purse that I can fit my folders in.
Yay!
So I had like a hostess folder, and we just set her up. So
good. So always be open for business, right? You can't make contacts out and about if you don't have any information with you, and even have some host packets in the car too.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen while you're out and about. Awesome. Good job. Who else?
I did a vendor event on Sunday, and I didn't count exactly, but I have about 10 contacts.
Yay! So what are we going to do with those contacts?
I am calling them tomorrow. It's been one crazy week, but tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, no later than tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so next week you're going to tell us what happened with those 10 leads. And if you need my script, let me know if you don't have it.
I'll have to see if I find it. I'm sure I have it somewhere.
Okay, if not, just message me and I'll get it to you.
Okay.
Awesome. Who else?
I have 3 recruit leads.
Yay!
And I just hit $2,100 in sales for the month.
Whoa!
So it's really exciting to see it all start to come together.
The puzzle pieces are aligning, right?
Definitely.
Some people say the stars are aligning. I say the puzzle pieces.
Yeah. I just see the money.
Yeah, and I mean, just the paycheck on those sales,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. Not too shabby, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Who else?
I have 2 parties coming up. One's out of town, and I have a vendor event coming up that I'm really excited about on the 25th. And I'll be doing that one by myself. So that'll be my first one by myself.
Yay! You can totally do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Yay, awesome. So make sure you let us know who's your director? Who's your upline?
Raquel.
Raquel, yeah. Raquel's the vendor queen too. So make sure you
Right.
reach out to her before you do that event so she can give you some tips.
Okay.
Awesome. Anyone else want to go? No? Okay, so just a little recap of what's been happening over the last couple weeks that you guys learned. So we all learned to ask our host, right, to join and ask them multiple times, because the first time they'll probably say no, and the second time they'll say no. Maybe the third time they'll think about it. So definitely ask your host multiple times. We talked about why you guys are all here. So that was really fun to read all the different whys and the different stories. And it's a good time to look at all those whys for you guys as well, to really see that everyone's like different in their own ways, and that this business can help so many people, right? We talked about, or you guys watched, the Miracle Morning. So can we talk about that? Like, was that like a I know it was really long, but I remember when I had to watch it and I was like, oh my God, it's like an hour. But I was like glued to it. Like it was crazy how fast the hour went by. So what was like your like, oh my God, this is like my aha moment? Anyone want to share?
I loved his 5-minute thing. It's like, that's my life. Because my two kids keep me like crazy busy all the time, especially my 2-year-old. He's into everything. A 5-minute, like, and then whatever doesn't get done, or something, something bad or good, or whatever the case may be, drop it, let it be, and continue on. Don't dwell on that.
That's a big one, guys.
Yeah, that's my big one right there.
That was my big one too. And I've been living that for like, I think 2 years or something. When something bad happens or something doesn't go as planned, take your 5 minutes, go scream, yell, whatever you want to do. And then it's time to move on, right? So that is definitely a big one. Anything else you guys took away?
The waking up an hour early. I did that. 2
What
days
did you
in a row.
do?
I actually went for a walk. I usually do go walking when I can, but I actually made my son breakfast so he have something to eat in the morning before he went to school. He's 17, so he's not a little child. But I did enjoy the video. I wrote down a lot of inspirational things that he said.
Good. Yeah. So I hope you all took lots of notes and just keep referencing them. You can't implement everything at once, but just take like 1 or 2 things that you're like, okay, this is it. Like for me, it was definitely the 5-minute rule. And I get up an hour too, an extra hour early. And it's just my like time, So if you guys did not see it, Judy Joel, some of you might not even know who Judy Joel is. Judy Joel works at Home Office, went live on our team page because we are so cool. We're the cool kids on the block. And she had some really good tips. Like I even picked up some of those things. So if you have not watched it yet, it's just a couple minutes, but she had some really good word choices on making calls or contacts to book some parties because you're going for a promotion. So I thought those were really good words. Did anyone hear those words on the video?
I did.
What did you think?
They were great. I'm like, okay, I can't write fast enough.
Yeah, and I mean you can go back and watch it, but her words were really, really good. So I highly encourage you all to watch it. So don't miss out on that video. If you watch the 1.5 hour video, you can watch a 5-minute one, right?
They're so enthusiastic, so it's like you want to watch it.
Yeah, I know. That's what it's all about. So I wanted to talk to you guys. So first of all, is there anyone on here that does not do virtual parties? No. Okay, good. So all of you doing virtual parties, and I've heard a lot lately from some of you and even like other directors that virtual parties are not what they used to be like, or I'm not getting enough sales, right? Can anyone relate? Right? Not enough sales, not enough participation. So I wanted to share with you guys, and I'll post this file too, but you can also find it on the Laney Chef or the Bazaar Bullet Train team, and talk about like virtual party host coaching. Some of you have done quite a few parties. Some of you just had their first couple parties, but you can kind of tell that, if the host is interacting, if the host is like there, if the host is excited, that party gets sales, right? And if the host is like barely doing anything, nothing's happening. And you can test it on your own. If you do a spring launch, if you do whatever, your own virtual mystery host party, if you just start inviting and then post and don't personally reach out to people, nothing's going to happen. Maybe you'll get like 1 order, right? So I'm going to share my screen and just show you guys. And some of you maybe just saw it, but I'll just kind of show you again if you saw it. It's always good to get a refresher. So I have this file called Facebook Parties 101. And it's really got everything you need to know about virtual parties. Now, however, you can't you just can't implement everything at once. But you do want to really look at the host coaching. If you're very new to virtual parties, we have a training video that walks you through it step by step by step. We have a Post My Party tutorial. If you use SynShare, go ahead and use that, whatever program you use. But the important one are all the files for host coaching. So if you click on this, I'll have to, let me see. Okay, so if you click on this, it really has everything that you need. So every party you do should have some kind of hosting checklist, right? So from the moment that someone says, yes, I'll have a party on this date, like there's certain things that need to happen. Those are the time consuming ones, right? Setting them up, mailing them a packet, getting them up on the website, creating the Facebook, and there's certain things that need to happen. So you want to have a checklist. Maybe if you have 1 or 2 parties, it's still doable to keep track of who has what, but once you start having 2 parties, you can't remember, who has what. So everything's right here. Everything that goes in a packet, you have to send your host a packet. I know it's like, a couple dollars to mail it. I use the flat rate envelopes from the post office. They're like $6.90, but I can put 2 catalogs in there and all my files. So everything you need to put in there is in here. One of the fun things that's in here is a personal invitation with a link for the person to hand out, the host to hand out to their friends, even if it's a virtual party. It just adds an extra touch, right? I print out 7 pages, so it's 14 invites, and it just adds that extra little touch, like, hey, hand those out. Talk about your party. Don't just hide on Facebook. It's got all the host coaching files. This one's very important, the daily host post recommendations. They're daily tips you send your host, 1 or 2 tips. And it's all about setting the expectation. So what I don't want to hear is, Facebook parties are super easy. I do all the work. You just invite your friends. No, right? We're not going to get anything done if they just invite their friends and don't do anything. So instead, say, hey, Facebook parties are really fun. They're super easy, but we are a team, and I want to make sure that I get you as much free Pampered Chef stuff as I can. So I will have 2 tips for you every day to really maximize your party. I've done, how many parties, and I've really found that those tips really help. And if you don't want to use those tips, then just post on your own. But you have to post, or you have to do something, something little, 5 minutes every day to be there for your guests and let them know that you're present and you're excited, right? So definitely make sure you send those. Now, these are designed for the 10 to 14 days templates, but even when I did 5-day parties, I would just pick and choose 2 things every day. And the most important ones is to get people to have 30 people going as fast as possible. And if you tell your host that 1/3 of the people that click going will order, she's not going to think that, I have 8 people going, I'll get 8 orders. The host doesn't know how to have a successful virtual party. I mean, we're still trying to figure it out because Facebook changes every time, right? So let them know that we need 30 people going so we can expect 10 orders. Okay. And then you send her these little recommendations, and, you could do a price drawing to get, if we have 30 people going by day 4 or by day 3, however you run your parties, we'll do a price drawing. So the host is really working on getting the people there. And something you can tell her too is you can explain to her how your party's going to work, So I'm just going to tell you how I do mine, but basically some kind of pre-party, a couple days, 1 day, 2, 3 days, 5 days, whatever you want, to really get people to click going. Because you don't want to start talking about products and recipes and all that if people aren't even present in the party yet. It's kind of like if you're doing a cooking show and you say everybody show up at 7 and at 6:30 the recipe's done. Right? You wouldn't do that. You wait till the people show up and then you start cooking. And, something I like to tell my hosts too is it's very important that you're present in the party, that you post thank you notes, that you interact with your customer, with your guests, because just like if you were to have a party at your house, you wouldn't just open the door, let everyone in, and then say, all right, I'm out, I'm going to bed. Right? They would do that. So just sometimes explaining things like this to your host is going to make more sense to them, because they have no idea. They think I invited 200 people, so 199 are going to order. That's what they think. They don't know that people don't see the events, people don't get notifications, like they don't know how Facebook works. So it's our job to make sure that they know that. The other important thing that we do want to talk about is the full service checkout. Oh, here's the background noise. I don't know who it is, but mute yourself. The full service checkout, where did it go? Oh, it's right here. So has anyone done a full service checkout at a cooking show? Raise your hands. What do you normally say at a cooking show? Who wants to share? Are you doing it? What are the 3 questions? Or what do you ask? Maybe we should talk about this.
I think that I was confused about the full service checkout because like I know that people can order it and have things sent to their house, but is it one of those things where like it's an automatic checkout, or do we have to wait for them to close the show before they get their stuff?
Not sure what you're talking about.
Well, you said the full service.
Like the checkout at the end of the party?
Yeah. So whenever you go and you order, you put their payment in. Is it where you just put their order to get shipped to their house? Because I have no clue.
That's okay. That's good. I guess we needed to talk about this. Has anyone done a full service checkout on a virtual party or a cooking show?
I've done one on a cooking show.
Okay, so tell me what happens at a cooking show.
So get done, everybody's looking at the catalogs. What I tell everybody is everybody stop by, even if they have to go home and ask their husband if they're adding more. So I know that I don't miss somebody. And that way I have all their information as well, so I can call them. Not just let them sneak out the door. But I always ask them if they've had fun. And then I ask them, if they'd want to host their own show. Ask them if they'd ever want to join your team and talk about that. So you always are giving them little seeds for that anyway. And then you can ask them about their order.
So would you ever do a cooking show and say, here's the catalog and then leave?
No.
Or people hand you orders and you never talk to them again? We wouldn't do that with a cooking show, right? But somehow, a lot of us do it with a virtual party. Thank you for your order. Okay, bye. I'll never talk to you again. Right? So just a little thought. So at a cooking show, right, they all shop and whatever, and you say, hey, I'm going to set up my checkout over here, and whenever you're ready with your order, come see me. And then they come. And, you say, oh, my God, did you have a good time? Did you enjoy the recipe? You do want to start with the business question. And the reason why is because if they say no to a business question, they are more likely to say yes to the second question, which is hosting, right? But, hey, oh, my God, you look like so much fun. Have you ever thought about doing something like Pampered Chef? Or what sparked your interest about Pampered Chef, about the Pampered Chef business when we talked about it during the ticket game? Find out what they say. What about having a party? Would you like to get your friends together for wine, cheese, and chocolate party? I would love to give a host credit for a party and spoil you with a ton of free Pampered Chef. What do you think? Oh, no, I'm not interested. Okay, well, what about a virtual party? Would that be maybe working for you better? All your friends on Facebook? No, I'm good. No, thank you. All right, well, listen, here's my information. I'm going to call you, in a couple weeks to make sure that your products are working for you. And if you ever need anything, you don't have to wait for a party. You can give me a call anytime. Something along those lines, right? So how can we do this for a virtual party?
What I like to do is I utilize the 2, 2, and 2 thing that they talked about in one of our meetings. Mm-hmm. And 2 days after the party, I will contact all of them. And I don't call anybody. It's just not my thing. I don't do it. But I will email everybody or private message them and just, thank them for coming. And then I set myself a reminder for 2 weeks after to make sure that they've gotten their products, look at what they ordered. I'll send them a recipe. Or if, say, they order the rock crock, I'll ask them, have they thought about ordering the slow cooker stand, something that goes with the product that they already ordered. And, then I'll ask them about the business. I've asked them about, hosting their own show. And I haven't really gotten much feedback from that. I have gotten a couple bookings from doing that. So it does work.
Yeah.
And then 2 months after, I set myself a reminder to check back with them again, hey, we talked on this day, you thought you might be interested. Are you now? Type deal. So.
Yeah, good. So that's definitely a good one, the 2x2x2. But before the first two, right, we got to have the checkout. We got to have some kind of talk. So I don't care if you text, I don't care if you call, I don't care if you message, whatever you want to do. If you have the time, pick up the phone. If you're so afraid of the phone, we're all afraid of the phone, but it really helps because they hear your excitement. But if you don't want to do that, if it's a Facebook party, send them a Facebook message. Obviously they order through a Facebook party, they're going to be online. But just something along the ways of, thank you so much. And I posted, I don't know if I posted in that group, but, thank you for joining Carolyn's party. Did you have a good time? Thank you so much for your order. And they're like, yeah, it was great. Or they'll tell you a little bit more. And then you can say, hey, I would love to, spoil you with free Pampered Chef, just like I did for Carolyn's party. Would you be interested in that? I would love to give our host credit. All right, my husband just threw me off. Business question first. Hey, have you ever thought about doing something like Pampered Chef? We have virtual party consultants only, and I just wanted to see if that's something you might be interested in. And then go in the hosting. All right. And they're like, no. Okay, well, you can expect, thank you so much for, that's like the first 2x2, basically. Thank you so much for joining. I really hope you had a good time. And I will check back in with you when you get your products to make sure they're working for you. And when you do that, then you have to follow up in 2 weeks and check in with them. But the reason you follow up with them within 2 weeks is when they have their products and, maybe, someone was just telling me they didn't get their products and it's been like 2 months later on another call. But anyways, you would know if they didn't get the products, or you would know if something's broken, and you can take care of it at that point because Pampered Chef will mail them a return label. Okay. But the full service checkout, even for virtual parties, is how you are going to get bookings, right? So we do have a script for that in that same link. Let me see if it opened up. Where is it?
Claudia, something else that I add into that, if their order isn't $75, I let them know how far off they are to get that free gift. I think that's the first thing I start off with if they haven't reached 75.
Yeah. And don't tell them how far away they are. Just say you're really close to earning a free gift. Was there anything else that you wanted to add? Right? If you tell them you're only $2 away, they're going to order a $2 item. Okay, so just a little tip on that. Oh, this looks weird. Let me change it.
Claudia?
Yeah.
The out of the box script, or whichever one it is, the full service checkout script. Every time I open it, I just get like a bunch of random characters and craziness. Oh. I don't know if I just have like the wrong.
But everything else opens fine?
Yeah, I have Evernote on my phone too. I don't know if I've tried that one on my phone, but
if not, just let me know and I can like message it to you and maybe that'll work.
Okay.
But
it's on my phone too and laptop. It's all messed up.
Oh, all right. Maybe we need to revisit it and see what's up with that.
No, I'm not crazy. Okay.
Yay! Nobody's crazy. We're all crazy. So here's just a sample script that you can use. I highly recommend if you guys just try it. Do like 10 at a time. Maybe do 10 phone calls, then do 10 texts, then do 10 messages, and just see what works for you. Sometimes we don't have time, so maybe a phone call doesn't work. But I will tell you that again, on the phone call, they just tell you a lot more. So what normally happens is they're like, oh yeah, I love Paper Chef. You know, I'm just prepping right now for dinner, and I'm using this, and I'm prepping for Whole30, and oh my God, my sister used to sell Paper Chef. And they'll tell you the whole life story if you get those chatty people. But that's a good way to get to know these people and see what you have to offer them. So anyways, so here's the full service checkout script. I will post all that, and you can take, it looks like a lot, but it's really just like conversation, and it just really covers everything. If you're that person, which I was, you know, that needs a script for everything, then it has it. Do they say yes? Do they say no? Where to go from there? And it has everything. If you leave a voicemail, if you leave voicemails, you want to follow up with a text. All right. And then you can basically reach out to them 3 times. If you don't hear back from them after 3 times, you know, then we're done. So we have the script right here for the full service checkout. Has anyone ever tried it at all? I think we just found our missing piece to the puzzle, right? Yay, I feel like accomplished. And I'm actually a little shocked that nobody has done it yet.
I'm not sure what you're asking that nobody's done.
The full service checkout with virtual parties?
I have.
Buddy.
I have.
Okay, there you go. Whew, okay, I thought I was going crazy for a second. So what are you guys thinking of it when you did it? Can anybody share?
Seems like, to me, it went really well. I've only gotten 2. Well, I can't say only. I've gotten 2 bookings that way, but I just have to get better about it. I haven't done it every time because I let life interfere. But it's been really well when I have done it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, I never had someone say, "Oh, you're mean. You said thank you." You know, actually, sometimes they get surprised when you call them to thank them. They're like, okay. But try it out. So especially, you know, if you have a virtual party and it's $1,000 party and you get 3 bookings, you know, if you're busy, you're busy, but you might still be missing out on some extra bookings. But especially for those parties where you're not getting the bookings, you don't get 2 bookings from every party, you need to do it. Does anybody know why we want 2 bookings from every party?
So you keep your business going.
Yeah. So we actually have a very scary formula. I can show you.
I know that, yeah, I was going to say, one replaces the booking and the second one, something, now I can't think of what it was.
Yeah. So we always want 2 bookings from every show, and here's the reason why. One's going to replace the one you just did, and the other one's going to make you grow. Right? And we're all here on this Moving Up program because we want to grow. But it's actually all like laid out. So if you kind of look at this chart, it's really cool to kind of see it. But, you know, so let's say you started in April, right, with 6 parties on your calendar. Now 2 cancel. Because it happens. Life happens. If we plan for cancellations, they won't throw us off. So you actually end up holding 4 parties. Out of those 4 parties that you hold, you book 2 parties. So now you have 8 new parties for the next month, right? So you go to month 2, and you're there, and you start the month with 8 parties. 2 will cancel again, and you actually hold 6 parties. 6 parties held. You get 2 bookings from every party. You now have 12 new parties, right? Month 3, same things, 12 parties, 2 cancellations, and so on. Month 4, you end up with 20 parties. I mean, 20 parties, could you guys imagine? I've done 20 parties, it's a little crazy. But that's how you start booking out. That's how you start looking at, you know, how great would it be if it was April 15th or whatever it is, right? And you already had all your May filled. Wouldn't that be awesome? All right? Instead of like scrambling last minute. But here's the difference. If you only get 1 party, you might be like, oh, well, I got 1, right? I'm moving forward. So let's say you start again with 6 parties and now you get 2 cancellations. So you're actually holding 4 parties. So you're holding 4 parties, you only get 1 booking. So you end up with 4 parties, right? Not bad. But month 2, you start with those 4 parties and 2 cancel. So you're actually holding 2 parties. Out of those 2 parties, you get 1 booking each. You end up with 2 parties. See how the number's going down? So month 3, you have your 2 parties dated, and now 2 cancel, and we have no parties. And month 4, you're done. You throw in the towel. Has anyone seen this chart before? I think some of you have. So this is very crucial. So we don't just say 2 bookings from every party just cause, right? So there's a reason. So all of you want to grow. You're all in this Moving Up program. So you really have to commit to, first of all, coach your host, like we just talked about. And I kind of highlighted the virtual parties because I know so many of us are doing them. And that's like hit or miss. A cooking show is almost a little different because you can't really say, okay, I have 6 cooking shows, and you show up, and at all 6 parties, there's no people there that don't buy. It doesn't really happen for a cooking show, right? Somebody's going to buy, some people are going to be there. But it could be that you say, I have 6 virtual parties, and maybe they qualify, maybe they don't. 3 don't even qualify. That could happen, right? I'm sure we've all been there. But that's why I want to really, encourage you all to tell your host, like, hey, we are partners in this. I know how to have a successful party, but there's a couple things I need from you. And that's why you send the host packet so they can collect outside orders. Tell your host too, for outside orders, send me a picture of the order as you get them so I can calculate it for you. That way you kind of know, are they collecting outside orders or not? And as soon as you get that first picture, you kind of know this host is good because she's sharing the catalog. But so host coaching is, it's crucial. You're either going to make money or you don't. So invest some time in host coaching. Facebook parties are not just set up, invite, and collect the money next week. That's not how it works. And then really, whatever template you're using for your virtual parties, make sure you're planting seeds about bookings, and you're planting seeds about recruiting, whether it's going live with the best deal in the catalog, showing the best deal in the catalog, talking about the kids, having people ask questions. And the other big important thing is the Google Drawing Slip. Do you guys know what I'm talking about with the Google Drawing Slip? So all that is posted in the tutorial that I just showed you, and I'll share it on the Moving Up group. But that is crucial. Not everyone fills out the Google Drawing Slip, but I would say about 5 to 8 per party fill it out. And that's also a great way to, first of all, see right away who's interested in what, but also when you need parties. You have a whole spreadsheet with contacts that you can text, call right away. All the information is right then and there. Okay, so make sure, for this week, you want to practice the full service checkout. All of you should have some kind of parties going on. So as orders come in, try it out, and we want to hear how it's going. If for some reason you don't have any parties, or it's not too late to go back and do it for an old party, right? You can't obviously say, you get a free gift when you spend money, but you can just kind of go back and just say, hey, are you enjoying your products? Did you take them out of the box? Do you need any recipes? And by the way, this is what's going on with Pampered Chef. Or did you enjoy the virtual party you participated in? How about having your own? It's not too late to kind of go back. So if you don't have new parties and new contacts, just go back to your last 2 parties, right? Depending on how many you need.
I don't know why. Oh.
Go ahead.
Someone else was talking.
Go ahead, Erin, and then we'll go, Michaela.
No, I don't know why. I'm really tired. I'm on an antibiotic that just totally. I have done full service checkout. I don't know why I didn't realize that was the name of what I was saying. I was thinking for some weird reason it was instant checkout. So excuse my stupidity.
Well, let me tell you that directors, I was part of a pilot program called, what is it called? Not called full service checkout. It's called express checkout. So people can check out faster at parties. And it just got opened up to all directors. So let's go, guys. Directors get all kinds of perks. We have all kinds of goodies. And I know we talk about all the regular benefits, but there's all kinds of goodies in the secret club that people don't tell you about. So, yeah, got to go in there. Michaela, what was your question?
Well, I was just going to say, I normally have been doing the full service checkout kind of like toward the end where I have my orders and then I call through like the list of orders. I don't know if that's necessarily wrong, but you do it a little bit differently where you call once the order comes in or a little bit after the order comes in.
Oh, no. You can totally do it at the end. It just kind of depends how your time is, right? If you have a lot of parties and you just kind of go right along so you get the email, like you have an order added, like I don't archive it until I reached out to that person. That's kind of how I keep track of it, right? But yeah, you can totally do it all at the end, and just say, hey, we're getting ready to close out the party. And I just wanted to check, have you ever thought about same thing? Okay. So what kind of results have you been getting?
Not great. I had a couple of parties that were booked that way, but I'm not doing well with the recruiting. Nobody.
Okay. And most likely people are not going to say, yes, I'll join your team over the phone like that. But when they book a party, you've already kind of planted the seed. So now they're having the party and now you can keep replanting the seed. It's just another getting the initial no out. And most likely they're going to be like, oh yeah, no, I'm not going to do that, but I'll have a party. It's kind of how the conversation goes sometimes, right?
Okay.
So yeah, now nobody or hardly anyone's going to say yes to the first time you ask them about joining your team. There's always some kind of back and forth, well, what do I have to do? And what's the kid? And maybe not, always. I mean, I don't think I've ever had one that was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. They all have questions, right? So awesome.
I just did it.
You just signed up?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's true. You did. So 1 out of like 100. Right? Good. So we talked about host coaching, how to maximize it, because I don't want you guys to have like 6 virtual parties and they all flop. Like that's just not cool. Right? I don't want you guys to make $40 of a party. I want you to make $100 or more off a party. And the more orders we have, the bigger the pool. But the other thing I do for virtual party, I'm a big believer, we run our business virtually, so I need to be friends with people on Facebook. So I friend request anyone that orders. Sometimes if I have time, I click through the going and just kind of start friend requesting them. It makes it easier too for you to message them if you're friends with them, because then it doesn't go like in their other folder or whatever, and it gets missed out. So some people will, some people won't. But a lot of times, even later when I, maybe post like my daughter cutting something up with Paper Chef, whatever, they're like, oh, what's that? I want that. And you're just starting to build that relationship. That's really all what it's all about, is them saying, okay, this girl is awesome, or this guy's awesome. He's going to be my guy. Right? All right. Any questions? Okay. So your homework is going to be to do full service checkouts and report back. And we're also going to have our conversation question for the week. What are you doing to increase bookings and to get recruits out of a virtual party? And that way we can kind of see what is everyone doing, and we can learn from everyone else. All right. Any questions?
Hey, Claudia, I don't have a question, but in the beginning you were talking about what it costs to mail the host packets. And I think it was Tiffany. I don't remember for sure, but I just mailed, what was it? 4 host packets, and I put two books, a Season's Best Cookbook, plus the flyers, order forms. And if you write media mail on your envelope, on the big envelope, it costs $2.63 per envelope. If you do media mail, that's how they do it. So mailing 4 of those cost me $10.52.
So just a regular envelope?
I use...
How did I know this?
These big manila envelopes, and I just write media mail on it.
Media mail?
Media mail. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You have to make sure that they know that it's, they can't figure out that it's a catalog. Because media mail is something for like we're mailing a book or something. If it's a sales thing on her catalog, we're not supposed to do it, but I totally take advantage of it.
So as long as we don't tell them. Okay, yeah. Well.
So it's supposed to be for books?
They haven't asked me.
Yeah, it can't be any type of sales catalogs or order forms.
I can't do that at my local post office. I'll have to go somewhere else.
But I mean, if they don't know.
What?
I said they know you too well because you send way too many packages.
Yeah, I know. But I can always go to a different town for $2. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for the tips. See, always learn something. We never stop learning, guys. So we're always learning. Trust me, we're all on calls all the time. All right. Well, let's make it a great week, and I will see you all next week. Bye, everyone.